If your to-do list never ends and your day always feels too short, you're not alone. I'm a neuropsychologist that has researched productivity for over 10 years, and I've learned that simple tweaks can unlock hours that you didn't know you had. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact systems and real-life examples you need to finally find time for what matters. To start, let me show you the number one mistake when it comes to getting it all done that no one is talking about. So a few years ago, I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to do to grow my business. Posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, doing affiliate marketing, shipping products, going live, editing YouTube videos. You name it, I did it. I was chasing my dreams, trying to be super mom and an amazing wife, and following every tip I could find. But here's the problem. No matter how hard I hustled, I never had enough time. I'd collapse into bed exhausted and wondering usually, am I doing all this for nothing? Will I ever actually reach my potential? Then everything changed. I read this book called Playing to Win, and I realized something huge. I was great at setting big goals and working hard, but I had no real strategy. Once I stopped spreading myself thin and focused all my energy on a winning strategy, my YouTube strategy, my business more than doubled while my effort was cut in half. So now my goal system is infused with strategy. But how do you actually build a goal system that keeps you focused on the right things and actually saves you time? It starts with streamlining your efforts to go from scattered to efficient with your time. So here's how to build a goal system that will help you find time for everything with a winning strategy. So I want you to start with your sun and moon goals. And these are the larger than life dream goals and yearly goals to help you make progress toward your dream. So your sun goals are like those 5 to 10 year goals. And these are like the dream, right? The larger dream, the quantum leap. Then we have the moon goals. These are like what's called sometimes midterm goals, 1 to 3 year goals. And these are going to be the life-changing progress goals to get you towards the dream, okay? And that's where I want you to start. So here's the problem though. Most people start from these sun and moon goals and go straight into what I teach, which is the star goals and the earth goals. And this is using things like reverse goal planning with things like the 12-week year, all that kind of stuff. And you will hear set your quarterly goals, your 12-week year goals, and then those lead to your weekly lead actions, your lead goals, right? But before you even do that here, I want you to pause. You need a winning strategy first. This is where you decide on the best tactics to reach your sun and moon goals before you decide on those star goals and those earth goals. So here's how I teach my students to build that strategy. I'm going to draw it out for you again. Okay, so when it comes to doing this strategy, the problem is most people are doing too much and they have no winning strategy. And so I am going to help us develop a strategy that's actually winning, that's actually effective before we go into setting those more realistic goals, those quarterly goals and those weekly goals. So we have our center circle here, and then we have this larger circle that's going to make up our strategy. And you can kind of think of this as a lens, and really what strategy does is strategy is the lens that brings our vision into focus. Okay. Essentially, we have that larger vision of our sun and our moon goals, and this strategy is going to be kind of like a camera lens that brings that into focus. So it's really going to give us that clarity here. All right, so the first thing I want you to do to develop your strategy is to choose your battleground. So choose your battleground. What's the one thing that if you focus on it, it'll make everything easier when it comes to reaching your goals? And if you do this, this is going to give you that focus that you need. The next thing I want you to do is to design your winning moves. What's the smartest way to achieve your goal given your energy, your season of life, and your strengths? Decide on this to develop your strategy next. And what this is going to give you is specific actions to do after you're focused. The third thing I want you to do to build your strategy is to build your edge. What limitations could block your win? And then think what skills, what knowledge or habits can help you overcome these limitations so that you can build your edge. And likewise, this is going to give you the skills, the habits, and the knowledge you need to make your vision a reality most efficiently. And then the last thing I want you to do to build your strategy is to secure support. What people, tools, or resources are going to help keep you consistent and grounded. And likewise, this will give you the resources that you need to reach your goals efficiently. And by the way, if you want more help with reaching your goals faster and easier by the end of this year, be sure to attend my free workshop at the end of this month called Finish the Year Strong. I'll be giving away free resources and everything you need to reach your 2025 goals by the end of the year. The link to sign up is in the description below. Okay, once you've got your strategy, the real challenge is sticking to it, especially when life gets chaotic or life starts lifing. Your goal system tells you where to focus, but without a way to manage your day-to-day, it's easier to get pulled in a million different directions and then you start wasting time. The next system that I'm going to show you is going to help you find time for everything in your day-to-day life. So do you ever feel like your brain is running slow even though you're working hard? Imagine your mind is like a computer. Every silent to-do, every reminder, every idea is like a tab left open in your mental computer. Before you know it, you've got a dozen different tabs open and it's slowing you down, cluttering your focus, and sometimes even crashing your productivity if you think of yourself as that computer. But here's the good news. You can close those mental tabs and reclaim your focus with one simple habit. This is the first step in my COPE method, capture. Okay, here's how it works. I want you to get in the habit of capturing every single task, every reminder or idea when it pops into your head and putting it into your running to-do list. Big or small, work or personal, it all goes into this running to-do list. And this does two powerful things. One, it reduces stress because there's no more having to juggle reminders in your head. And then number two, it really does boost your productivity because nothing is slipping through the cracks. But how should you keep this running to-do list? I use my Notion Second Brain within my Productive Boss Notion system, which is literally my digital hub for everything. Tasks go in there in the task section, ideas and insights into the notes, and everything links in easily, projects or life areas. And yes, I do offer my Productive Boss Notion system as a template. If you're interested, it includes my Second Brain template. It's also linked in the description below. But if Notion isn't your thing, no worries. I still got you. I want you to use what fits for you. So Trello, Asana, Google Drive, or even your phone's notes app. But here's why I strongly recommend whatever you use to use digital versus paper though. So basically having it digital makes it more portable because your phone is always with you, unlike a bulky planner or even if a small planner. You don't always have it with you. We always have our phones with us. The second reason I prefer to have your Second Brain digital is because of organization. Having it digital means you no longer have to rewrite lists over and over, and there's no more losing tasks and random post-its everywhere or a lost sheet in your planner that you can't find or in your journal. And my favorite reason to have it digital is to have connectivity. So especially in my Productive Boss Notion system, everything is easily linked. Tasks can link to projects, project can be linked to life areas, everything can be linked to my business hub or my habits and routines organizers if I need it. Since everything is connected, it saves me so much time and nothing really gets lost. And hey, I do know that sometimes you can't grab your phone. Maybe you're in a meeting or maybe you're cooking dinner. Just jot it down on a sticky note or a memo to add in the moment. But the key is at the end of each day, I want you to transfer any written notes to your main digital list. That way nothing gets lost. I do this during my wind down work routine if you're familiar with my 3-7 time blocking method, which is really helpful because it's just habit. So remember, consistency consistency is key. That's the most important thing of this system, is the capture habit. But capturing is only half the battle. Next, I'm going to show you how to turn that list into action without getting overwhelmed. Think of your weekly capture like this. It's laundry day and you've dumped every piece of clothing onto your bed. At first it's chaos. You've got shirts, socks, towels everywhere. But once you start folding and sorting everything into the right drawers, suddenly it all feels more manageable and you can breathe this like sigh of relief. Now let's bring that same feeling to your to-do list. You've captured everything swirling around in your brain. Amazing. But if it just sits there in one big pile, it's still really overwhelming. That's where the next step in the system comes in, which is O for organization. The absolute cornerstone of this entire system is your weekly review. This is your dedicated moment each and every week where you sit down, look at everything you've captured, and sort it neatly into clear, manageable categories. Let's quickly walk through these categories that you can think of as digital file folders. First are projects. These are activities with clear deadlines that require multiple steps. For example, planning your kid's birthday party or maybe organizing a work event. During your weekly review, if you notice that you've captured a task in your task running to-do list that's actually a project, this is going to be your time to actually convert it to a project and not a task. Then you can go into the project and actually delineate the multiple tasks that it will take to complete this project and give each task a deadline so you're all the way organized. Number 2 is areas of life. These are those ongoing responsibilities or roles without a specific endpoint. They just kind of ongoing. So think of things like managing your personal health, maintaining your home, or running your social media marketing, ongoing sort of life areas. Number 3 is resources. These are the items you want to reference later, but they aren't immediate actions that you need to take. They aren't personalized life areas, and unlike life areas, you can share them easily. They're not personalized like articles, recipes, or tutorials. Then 4 is archive. This is the storage box for completed tasks, finished projects, or outdated information. It's out of sight and out of mind, but it's always there if you need it, okay? So here's how I process my tasks during my weekly review. If you want a checklist of my weekly review getting things done method, be sure to click on the link below for a free Notion template or PDF of my getting things done weekly review checklist. So step 1, ask, is this actionable? If yes, is it a simple one-step task? I want you to keep it on your task list. If it's bigger with multiple steps, you're going to create a project and break it down into smaller tasks. Step 2, if it's not actionable, ask, is this still relevant? If yes, does it fit into an ongoing life area? Then you're going to put it there. If it's not personal and could help others, save it as a resource. If the answer is no though, move it to archive if it's not relevant or useful so you can keep your workspace clear. So by the end of this process, you'll notice that your mind feels clearer, calmer, and even more in control, just like putting away all that laundry. But there's one more piece left. We actually haven't gotten anything done yet. So next, I'll show you how to actually take your beautifully organized list and turn it into action so you move from organized to accomplished, which is the key to really finding time for everything. So imagine you're at a restaurant with a giant menu. Everything looks good, but you can't eat it all at once. You have to pick what you want now and save the rest for the next time you come to that restaurant. Prioritizing your task works the same way. You're gonna choose what matters most this week and then schedule the rest for later. This brings us to the next important step, P for prioritize and schedule. So after organizing your task, it's time to decide when each one needs your attention. So here's how I do it in my Notion Second Brain, which again is available in my Productive Boss Notion system. If you're interested and want to take a look, it's linked in the description below. So when I'm going through and prioritizing each one of my tasks, I label it with one of the following. The first label I may use is called Due Next. What are the tasks that need to be completed in the upcoming week? If they're done in the next week, they get labeled Due Next. If it's set for a deadline that's not in the upcoming week, but later on, then I'm gonna label it scheduled. I also have the label of hold for tasks that I'm putting on pause. Waiting for is another label that I might use for tasks needing someone else's input. And then completed obviously is for tasks that are done or that I'm gonna archive. So now your priorities are clear. You know exactly what to tackle next, but prioritizing isn't enough. Next, I'm gonna show you how to actually take action to get things done that you you have found the time for. So have you ever been in a group chat planning a girls trip? Everyone's excited, tossing out ideas, inside jokes, but nothing is actually getting booked, just kind of talking. Then the planner, usually me, steps in, we pick the Airbnb, we confirm the dates, we send out the payment links, we get stuff done. Suddenly that dream trip becomes real. So planning your week works the same exact way. It turns all your organized tasks and ideas into concrete, doable actions. This brings us to the final step in my method in this system, E for engage. This is where you will actively work your system through weekly planning and daily time blocking, so you really are finding time for everything. So right after my weekly review, I sit down with my planner, map out my week, and block time for my most important tasks. This simple habit alone is how you move from just being organized to actually getting things done. And if you want my exact system for weekly planning and time blocking, be sure to watch this video next. And until next time, cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.